am in the big city. Seeing my movement disorder specialist. It's time for my 6-month visit, so check an update. I'll see what's going on with me. This is a normal visit. This is a routine visit. This isn't anything unusual. But I have noticed in the last couple of months it's a little harder for me to walk. I feel like I'm shuffling a little bit more, and I'll bring that up with the neurologist, actually the movement disorder specialist, and see what she has to say. Now, I could have seen a movement disorder specialist near my house, actually, who's only about 5-10 minutes away. Unfortunately, she only had 6-month appointments as well. And I had just gotten a DAT scan done in January of 2021. She wouldn't be able to see me for another 6 months to let me know the results. So I put it out on my network of doctors on my insurance plan. Anybody can see me now. I don't care where you are. And it turns out that there was a movement disorder specialist that just happened to have an opening like a couple of days from then. So I was able to go down into the city, bring all my results from the DAT scan down to her, and the rest is history. So when I first saw the neurologist after getting the DAT scan done, or the movement disorder specialist, I gotta keep saying that. A movement disorder specialist is a step above a neurologist, so they don't mess around. So anyway, just a side note if you can tell what city I'm from. But anyway, the movement disorder specialist did a whole litany of tests, like out here to your nose, touch your fingers, the pinch test with this finger, and you can tell this is my left finger. It's not as good. My right side's a lot better. But it was about an hour of testing, plus the DAT scan was a confirmation that the right side of my brain had less dopamine than the left side, and the right side affects the left side of your body. So basically, from there, she just designated it as Parkinson's. Not Parkinsonism, but Parkinson's, which is a relief because I was a little worried about maybe being something else. But I had been prescribed some levodopa before that by a different neurologist, and that also seemed to make things work a little bit better. So, between the DAT scan and that's pretty much an absolute confirmation that, yes, you have Parkinson's. Lucky me. So there's a lot of cool things to see in the city, but out here in the suburbs, where I live, there's a lot of cool things as well. This is the Valley Forge Encampment Tour, where our forefathers fought the British. Take a brief look inside. Whoa. No creature comforts here. Oof. Alright, so my neurologist, my appointment ran kind of late, and my movement disorder specialist ran kind of late. And in addition to that, see, what I had set up before the appointment was a blood test. They wanted to do a genetic test on my blood. So I had to donate some blood to them. So that was set up before the appointment, actually. So I thought whatever I can do to put off Parkinson's or help cure this damn thing, I'll do. So I gave them a couple of vials of blood, and they're going to look at it, and they're going to be able to tell through genetic testing what they can do and to maybe slow it down. And this also sets me up for clinical trials too, so I was pretty excited about that. So now that registered me for some experiments or some trials that are coming up in Philadelphia and in the surrounding area, that I'll go for it. Hey, whatever it takes, whether it be medicinal trials or exercising, stuff like that. But between that and my doctor running kind of late, I didn't want to say much in Philadelphia. I would have loved to have given a tour. But it was running kind of late, and getting out of the city in the rush hour would have been just a disaster. So I bugged out a little early and stopped here at Valley Forge on the way home. So anyway, the results of my exam, there's good news and bad news. I guess we'll start off with the good news is Parkinson's is progressing. Imagine that, a progressive illness progressing. But not as bad or as fast as she thinks it is. We did the finger testing, and that's my right hand, and that's actually pretty good. You can see that. Look at that going, all right? But the left one, it's still short circuits. And they do test with your leg and stomp your feet and touch your nose and the same thing. So she noted that. And my voice is getting a little more raspy. And they had noted that the shuffling was just starting to get up a little more. But for the most part, for a year and a half, I really haven't changed my medications. And I think that's in part to me doing all the fitness and the exercise and keep going, go, constantly moving. Keeping things loose, keeping things, built, and things like that. So the bad news is, and I was up front with her, they give you this little questionnaire about like your moods and your emotions. And I have been flat these last couple of months. You don't know if it's because of Parkinson's or is it because of what Parkinson's is doing to you. And she had said to me that if you've never had any kind of anxiety or depression before, and then you get Parkinson's, now you're going to get it. If you've already had anxiety and depression, Parkinson's is just going to exacerbate it. So she prescribed a medication called Selegiline, 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 Selegiline. Selegiline is it's an AMAOI medication. For the record, I don't react well to any kind of SSRI medication. Anything SSRI like Prozac, Zoloft, Celexa, Lexapro, anything in that kind of class, I just don't get along with. I tried Effexor and Cymbalta. I had real bad hallucinations on that, so I can't take anything like SSRI or SNRI. I'm scared to, I've taken stuff for anxiety called clonazepam, which is Klonopin, which helps me sleep, which is great, perfect, wonderful. But I've experienced anxiety in the past, and I've experienced depression and clinical depression, and I've always been able to work through it with a therapist and cognitive behavioral therapy. And there's generally a reason why I become depressed, whether it's a loss or it's a stressful event or something like that. So I've always been able to work through it and work around it with the right tools. And I'm a bookworm, so hey, I get all the anxiety books out there, and I get all the depression books, and I read up on it, and I try to figure my way out and around it. But this is something different, and I've just been feeling kind of flat, and nothing seems to have been bringing me out of it. But this is the part where I see I'm not just going through Parkinson's like a lot of people too. I have a lot of other issues. Right after I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, I had a heart attack. What had happened was I was at the gym, because I know, going to the gym does a lot of benefits. It's a lot of benefits for you with Parkinson's. Well, I'm 58 years old and haven't done anything at the gym. So here I go right to the gym, hardcore into it, and apparently my body was like, hey, slow down. So I was having chest pain for a while, and I blew it off to nothing because I'm thinking, hey, I'm 58, come on, I'm not that bad of shape. I have low fat meats, and my wife's a nutritionist, for Christ's sake. I mean, she makes great meals at home, so there's nothing really, can't be like clogged arteries. And I just blew it off to chest pain from, pulling a muscle or something, because it's muscles I've never used. So anyway, I did have the heart attack. Shortly after the heart attack, while I was in the hospital, they noticed some other things. It's like you bring your car into the shop and it's like, okay, well, you just don't need tires, pal. You need a whole new front end. They noticed some other issues. Apparently my PSA, which is a prostate-specific antigen, was up there. And I was having problems going to the bathroom in the hospital while I was being treated for the heart attack. So, the urologist comes in, point blank tells me that you have a very strong possibility of having prostate cancer, between 26 and 33% chance of having prostate cancer. And I'm like, oh, great. Now what? Come on. You know what I mean? How many things can you get hit with before your body really just, in your mind, Jesus, you get to a point where it's like, okay, I want to take care of this, I got to take care of this, I got to take care of this, but you have a degenerative illness that is not going to get any better, but you also have the heart attack, and you also have this prostate cancer fear. And the cancer fear loomed for a while, because then I was arguing with my insurance company about getting an MRI. Getting the MRI needed approval so I could get the biopsy if there was any problems on the MRI. So guess what? There was a lesion on the MRI that they decided they had to do a biopsy on that anyway. But all that waiting was months and months and months and months and months down the road, and there was stress. It was 2 months, 3 months approval to get the MRI, and there was a 2 to 3 month approval to get the biopsy done. Holy shit. So, eventually, the biopsy turned out to be clear. So that was back in November of 2021. So I was okay for now. But it's something now I have to get checked every 6 months to a year. As for the heart attack, I'm on about 5 different medications for that. And the problem with that is they all suppress things. And when you have Parkinson's, you don't want to be suppressed. You want to keep going. You want to go. You want to keep the energy flowing. And you don't have that with these medications. I'm taking something for my high blood pressure. It keeps blood pressure down. I'm taking something now for keeps your heart rate down. I'm taking something to keep your cholesterol medication. My cholesterol's fine, but they just give that to you anyway, just to give it to you. It's like, Jesus. Then I have to take a nitrate, and the nitrate opens up your blood vessels. Okay? But they all keep things down. They keep your heart rate down, keep your blood pressure down, keep this down, keep your cholesterol down. And you're fighting an endless battle because of the side effects of the medication you're taking too. So, not to mention now, you're taking the levodopa 3 times a day, and now I want to be taking a Selegiline on top of it. So it's like, whew, I rattle when I walk. I was taking stuff for the prostate, but that, I tell you, Flomax has the worst side effects of anything I've ever taken. So I stopped taking that, and the urologist was okay with that. So, but the Selegiline is an MAOI, and it's used in low doses for Parkinson's, but in higher doses it's for depression. So, spiraling all that back around to what the neurologist had said to me, we're going to give you this Selegiline, and it's going to be a mood lifter, so hopefully it brings up the mood a little bit in you. and it's a low dose antidepressant, so maybe that's all I need. Who knows? But there's definitely a reason why I'm feeling bad. I mean, the loss of my job, the loss of about 50% of my income doesn't help. I was very sociable at work. I was always, the fun guy. I was always the guy who went out, went the extra mile, worked power. I was always the guy who worked a little extra, always helped the other guys out, and I miss that. I miss the camaraderie of working with other people. I'm home with my wife and dog all day. No offense, you know what I mean? My wife takes great care. But I'm used to a schedule of getting up at 6 in the morning, banging out about 10 hours of work, and I can't do that. So, of course, that's going to make me depressed as well. But, I'm still trying to go to the gym. I still go. I still walk the dog, try to do 10,000 steps a day. Most of the time it's around 5 or 6, but I do what I can. I do what I can around the house, but even that's boring. I tell you, I get so bored around my house. I can't. I don't know how some people do it. Just laundry, cleaning, this, that. It's just like Groundhog Day. So I really need to change up my schedule. And it's summer now, and things are, it's getting nicer out. So I'll be able to be outside and do a lot more things outside. So. That changes it up. But this winter I suffered. It was rough, man, because you're just in the house freezing all the time. That's another thing, Parkinson's. I'm not sure if it's Parkinson's or if it's anything else, but my thermostat's broken. My thermostat up here is broken. I am perpetually cold. It's 75 out here right now, I'd have to say, right? Wearing sleeves. I would throw my coat if I had one. But anyway, so that's the results of my test. I'm happy that things aren't going fast, and everything I've read about the Selegiline is positive. That it's a adjunct to the levodopa I was taking out. She bumped my levodopa up 4 times a day, and oh boy, it was on. I'm real sensitive to that stuff, so I backed it back down to 3 and taking the Selegiline. The Selegiline actually is an adjunct. It's like a little boost for levodopa, so I'm just going to leave it where it is. And I take 1 in the morning, and I have to bump it up to 1 in the afternoon. That seems to be working. I have a little bit more energy back, so we'll try it. What can I do? And she's like, the bad news also was from her is that she's been my MDS, my movement disorder doctor for a while. For like, I had to say, last year and a half, and she's moving on from her practice to another practice that's not in my plan, my insurance plan, so I'm kind of bummed about that. So, but I got 6 months to see another person, which, from the same practice, which I've kind of gotten to know the doctors in that same practice now, and they'll be covered under my plan, and I can always switch to her too, or I can just see her out of pocket, so it's not a real big deal. But that's it for now for the neurologist visit. I keep saying neurologist visit. It's a movement disorder specialist. I think neurologist is, I'm just so used to saying it. But I'll keep an update on the medicine. But for now, it's been almost a week. And now I got to jump it up a little bit. So we'll see. But, it's about time. I was probably due for it. But... anyway, that's it, and